The hardest part about working in hospice, I think, is at the beginning. When we first go into a patient's home, whether it's at home, in a facility, wherever the patient is, and we are introducing ourselves and we're starting to kind of get to know the patient and the family. Sometimes until we build those relationships and we form that trust, it can be difficult because people are letting us into their homes and into their lives when they're the most vulnerable, when things are very scary, and just when there's a lot of emotions and feelings. And even though that may be the hardest part, at the end of the day, it actually turns out to be the most beautiful part, because when people pass away, we're there and we've built a relationship and we've formed trust and bonds, and so the family not only has each other, but they have us.
It's constantly juggling moving parts while I'm on the road and I'm doing this, and I have 6 visits and then have to make phone calls, and just all the moving parts.
The hardest part is getting families to understand the benefits of hospice.
To me, the hardest part is the awareness, because people always feel like when they find out that they have a terminal diagnosis, they always think that they have more time than they actually have. So they always want to wait, and they want to wait to get on hospice because they feel good, and really that's the time to get on, because as you progress is when you need us the most. So I think a misconception is that one of the hardest parts is like having those conversations with people and knowing that they need it, but they say no because they don't feel like they're dying.
The biggest part, probably, it's hard to take time off of work, especially when you don't have somebody that's able to fulfill your position while you're out.
Just getting close to people, and their time comes and they're no longer here with us.
The hardest part about pediatric hospice is sitting with families when they are reviewing life, because pediatric patients' lives are cut short and it's typically not very fair.
So the hardest part, I think, is watching these families have to watch their child die. I don't think that that's anything that any parent should ever have to deal with, and knowing that at any moment anybody can die, yes, car accidents, anything like that, but knowing that your child is dying and having to watch that every day and kind of wait, I think is the hardest part.
Helping people understand that the situation that they're going through is not something that is caused by God, but something that God can help them with. And many times that misconception keeps people from really receiving the peace that they can get, not only from the care of our team, but also from a spiritual standpoint.
The pain that comes to the family, and watching someone who's scared, that's really hard.
The hardest part would have to be the emotional stuff that you take on, the things that you see, the emotions that you feel.
I like to take them to the end of their life, but it's a relationship, and it's closure, and so it is kind of difficult at times, and even we as physicians, we go through grief as well, and sometimes I have to cry a little bit, and that's okay. I know there's, why should we not be any different? Because we're all human.
From my standpoint, like I said, support staff. So I've seen nurses come back after dealing with 3 deaths in a day, and you can see it on them, right? And so getting through those things, and you're working with people who are dying, right? So it's okay to break down. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel those emotions. And really it's the passion and the way it fills their bucket to really bring people back.
How do I take care of myself? Well, clearly not very well. No, but really, self-care to me is just carving out time for myself. I really like to journal and I like to write because I don't ever want to forget the opportunity that I've been given to touch people's lives while they walk the journey. And so writing, journaling, being able to talk to coworkers about feelings, because I think with each patient, every individual is different, so we're all going to have different feelings, and that can be therapeutic.
I'm very comfortable with giving all of my care to the Lord. So when I see a client, whatever their conditions are, it's not that I don't care, but once I leave them, I give all that concern to the Lord and just usually pray on my way to the next client, so that I keep myself pretty connected, because that's what we have to do to stay on top of what we do, so that we don't drag our concerns into the home of our next client.
I am spiritual, so my faith is the front of my taking care of self.
Well, I take care of myself by setting boundaries with work and personal life. I feel like hospice nurses really need to have a life outside of the job, so that they don't take their work home with them.
I really love animals. I love my family. So setting solid amounts of time apart from work in order to take care of my mind, body, and soul, in order to come back the very next day and do really difficult things, is very important.
Ensure that I take care of myself mentally, like I'm getting, my sleep, my rest, I'm doing things outside of work. I probably go home and love on my kids a little bit more on the harder days than the not so hard days. Extra hugs and activities, and just try to remember how lucky I am and fortunate that I'm not the one on the other side of that table.
I've used our resources here, when I have a heavy day. My day typically is not heavy because of that. It's maybe because I'm helping employees get through things or working with them on whatever the circumstance. But I just think having resources, I have a good resource at home. My wife is incredible. She helps me with things all the time. And just communicating, being open with our staff on, maybe stuff I'm going through or stuff they're going through.
So, what do I do? I just allow myself to grieve if I need to, and some are a little bit more difficult than others. So as a medical director, I don't get as close to people because I'm more administrative, but for my own patients, it can be difficult at times.
I am taking care of the people who have suffered the losses or who are anticipating loss. And so that can be really heavy. I have a great set of friends that I am able to talk about my feelings with without sharing any HIPAA information or anything like that. And then I also have a good family.
Personally, I like to go to the gym. I like to eat as healthy as I possibly can and take vitamins and supplements. But the gym is the most important for me.
Massage and a lot of hydrotherapy, meaning going swimming.
For me to take care of myself, I go get my nails done and my feet done and just have time to myself at times.
I make sure that I get my nails done. It's very important. My nails and hair need to be done at all times.
There's usually a pretty big stigma on hospice for most people. They think, oh, as soon as you go on hospice, it's an automatic death sentence, which is not the case. I've had plenty of patients that have been on for longer than 6 months. I think that the sooner you get onto hospice, the more beneficial it is for you.
I think pediatric hospice is something that does not get enough discussion about, and I think that we could help so many more kids and families that are in situations where their child does have life-limiting diagnoses, and just the care that we are able to help provide at home versus having to go somewhere and expose your kid to all those extra illnesses or anything else is huge and something that needs to be talked about more.
Hospice is more than what people think it is. it's a lifeline that's out there.
I think hospice was one of the very last things I thought I could ever do. Being with families at the end of life seemed just incredibly hard, but after facing trauma and death in my own family, I wanted to be that person. I wanted to be that person to help. I wanted to be that person that I wanted and needed in my time of need.
The people who work in hospice do it because they have a special heart. It's not because of the money, it's not because they can't find any other job, it's because they care so much about these people and want to treat them with dignity and pride.
I just think Endless Journey does a great job. We have a lot of great people that care, and I think people get great care when they choose Endless Journey.